My name is jpdussan. I am a composer for film and media, and I'm also a social media influencer on Instagram. These are 5 things that you shouldn't really do if your goal is to grow your Instagram. Number 1 is posting without a clear audience in mind. Sometimes we have the urge to post anything that we might find interesting ourselves, but do our followers really care about what we are sharing with them? Is the information any valuable to them? And are we listening to what they need? This is one of the first things that you should ask yourself if your plan is to grow a business via Instagram. And your business might be anything from a music business to a photography, art business, anything really. The first thing that you need to ask yourself is, if this is a personal Instagram, that yeah, maybe you can post about your dinner with friends and everything and keep it kind of random. But if your goal is to make this your business, maybe you should start niching down and posting about a specific topic that your audience might be very interested in. For example, on my Instagram, I post content about my studio equipment to make film music, and obviously I post my own original music for film and for advertising projects. And I do this by collaborating with some brands that create software and hardware products that allow me to do my work. Anything that falls outside of these limits doesn't really perform that well and actually hurts my growth on the platform. Number 2, waiting too long to post. Instagram, TikTok, and all the current social media platforms are very, very fast-paced. Content will not really stand a chance of surviving for a long time, for a few days or even months. It'll be forgotten, and your audience is most likely going to see the content that you post within the first 24 hours that it's there. After that time, the lifetime of the post is gone. Make sure that you have some sort of a plan. If you're trying to go into this more seriously, don't post once every month because you're not really going to attract anyone new. Try to have some sort of consistency to your schedule. Instead of posting 1 or twice a month, how about you block 1 day of your week or 1 day of your month to do all the content that you're planning to do, and then you schedule it for specific days of the week. So for example, you can post Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or you can also post only on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. I recommend anything from 2 to 3 days in between every post, and this is something that I also do myself. Sometimes I would do every single day. By being consistent in your posting schedule, you're allowing your platform and your followers to notice you more frequently. You're on their feeds all the time. You're on their minds all the time. Posting a story every day is good to keep your little profile icon in your followers' feed, and also posting reels consistently will always make sure that people know that you're active. This is going to automatically allow your engagement to grow because the platform is going to understand that you are a valuable, consistent user. Number 3 is changing your content too often. One of the things that I mentioned the first point of this video is that my content kind of lives within this one niche of film scoring equipment, music for film, etc., etc. So whenever you find that something works for you and you repeatedly do it and it repeatedly works and works and works, try to handle it with care, because now you have an audience that knows you for something. And then if you try to take the opportunity to make a variation on that, you might make your audience distrust you by doing this, because they might think you're changing your focus, or they might not like the content that they're seeing anymore. So make sure that any type of change that you do, you could probably ask your audience first if they want to see something like that, or you could have just a little variation every now and then. For example, my Instagram took off when I started posting pictures of my studio. At the time, Reels weren't really that much of a thing on Instagram. But then when Instagram started doing the Reels, I got in that train and I started posting Reels with more equipment. When I started posting my original music and on Instagram Reels, I started seeing a little bit of an increase in engagement and in my follower accounts and everything else. And I started seeing more value in what I was doing, and I felt like my audience trusted me. But it was a transition that I had to make within a period of time. Number 4 is being a perfectionist and putting quality over quantity. And in this, I must say, I fell into this category quite a lot. I'm a very, very big perfectionist. I always try to do the best I can with everything I do. Best quality, best aesthetic. The audio has to be perfect. The video has to be crisp and sharp and the best quality possible. And this has been a detriment to my progress. This has slowed me down in terms of posts, the amount of information that I share. One of the things that I've learned from this is that not necessarily because you don't have the right equipment or the latest camera and the latest microphone, it doesn't mean that you can't make creative quality content, because you are unique and you have your own creative voice. So I feel like instead of focusing so much on making content that is really good in quality wise, but maybe sacrificing the time. So for example, you're posting a really, really good piece, but once a month, you're not going to grow at all. So I feel like if you, instead of doing that, you forget a little bit about the quality aspects of things and you really think about the quantity aspects, you might be able to upgrade over time faster because you're doing that process so many times in a row. Instead of once every month, you might not see any improvements in that timeline. But if you do it 20 times a month, then you will for sure see some improvement across that time. So don't be a perfectionist and make sure that you are creating consistently. And then finally, number 5, not engaging enough with your audience. This is very important. Probably one of the most important things is engaging with your audience, making sure that you guys have communication. If someone asks a question, if someone makes a comment, make your best effort to respond to that person, because this person saw your video, maybe got inspired, and took the time to write in your comment section. So the least you can do is also respond to that person and take some time. And this is going to be rewarded by the platform, and it's going to create trust between you and the person who is listening to you. It's all about building that community, and it's all about building that trust. And the only way to do it in social media is to try to interact with the people who are consuming your work. Just the same way that if you go to a concert, you are engaging with the artist that you're seeing, or the artist is engaging with you when they're speaking to the audience, when they're reacting to the audience and taking that feedback. That generates that trust that keeps you wanting more and more and more of this artist and this musician, person that you're going to see. So think about it the same way, but it's just virtually. I hope these tips were useful for you. If you are getting trouble getting there on Instagram or social media platforms, I hope that these 5 tips were useful for you. Make sure that you leave in the comments below if you think there is anything else to add to this video. I think I'll do some more tips in the future that might help you if you were interested in growing your Instagram and understanding more about how the platform works and how you can strategize your growth on social media.